a concept which is something that stands for imperfection. It's not perfect. And you have the most original, an experience that will only last in one moment, and fleetingly and continuingly. It always passes by you. You're always experiencing new things every moment. Sensations, bodily movements, gestures, facial reactions, stimulus, and the neural patterns, everything that causes you to react and behave is stored to some degree and to some average scale. What common behaviors you do more than others and which ones are completely new to you, sort of saved in sort of these imperfect images that your brain saves, which is what would be deemed a concept. And if you revert to my previous videos, I describe it as a mosaic tile. That was not terribly original. I actually took that from the book. How from one hue to the next there is no gradient. There's one sharp line, linear division between both hues, that you can never get a clear cut between the two. And in that sense, concepts stand in relation to imperfect realities as they are to actual reality, as the way things really are in themselves. Okay, that being said, that's what a concept pretty much is. And he gets deeper into what it is, but I'll be sufficient to say that as another main point. I guess the last point is just to recap on people's emphasis for reason over genuine insight. Genuine insight not having to specifically be an argument, but any sort of insight that paints a picture that seems to be relevant, consistent, or insightful, or compact, that generate new ways of understanding things. And it's with these insights, that we actually grow from our previous position. So if we were to leave the focus basically on the form or the formal ways of reasoning, unless of course you're a logician and you're trying to focus on advancing the mechanics of logic, that's different. But if you're simply, as a philosopher or as somebody trying to really understand better the human experience, only focusing on the form of reason and disaccepting anything that is unreasonable, then according to Schopenhauer, he prefers genuine insights, although it's pretty much, if not impossible, very unpractical for you to get two opposite camps that only focus on one over the other, unless of course you get to their extreme philosophical positions, empiricists, rationalists. But on the everyday understanding how people think, it's more common you'll find people to, and especially philosophers, to maybe be engrossed with a certain talent of reasoning skills, profound reasoning abilities. But if they are coupled by genuine insight and new generated insight rather than the old insight or relearned insight of previous knowledge of philosophers, then you haven't really contributed anything insofar as you've actually contributed new insight. And that's Schopenhauer's biggest point, and perhaps his biggest fear, that maybe in the academic field has become more of a camp for people trying to remain employed, and people doing it sort of for the reasons of the sophists of the past, of the Greek times. People that are more concerned about the payment rather than the actual insight. I guess I'll just leave it at that. We could just call that concept right there as a main point, authentic independence. Thank you. Hope that helped.